From a young conman to an African-American baseball player and the world's biggest social media platform, these are the best movies about ambitious people who started from the bottom and reached the very top. Number 12. Pirates of Silicon Valley. This TV movie is about how the greatest technological innovation of the latter half of the 20th century was fueled by a handful of geeks named Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Bill Gates, Paul Allen, and Steve Ballmer. Young bucks brassy enough to think they could change the world, and naive enough to believe that they could deal with the unfathomable wealth and power and the inevitable fallout once they did. It is slightly dated today, but it still holds some very valuable information and pointers to learn from. After all, you've got to be a pretty special person to become as powerful as they have. Number 11. The Banker. Based on the true story of Bernard Garrett and Joe Morris, the Apple-produced movie shows how they became bankers in the 50s and 60s. Unbeknownst to many, the duo purchased around 177 buildings, including what was considered to be the tallest structure in downtown Los Angeles in 1961, the Bankers Building, all the while creating life-changing opportunities for African Americans. In 1965, Garrett and Morris were sentenced to 3 years for misapplying $189,000 in bank funds. They served 9 months. Garrett started other businesses, but none on the scale he had previously known. Number 10. 42. In the still segregated 1940s, Jackie Robinson made history by becoming the first African-American to compete in Major League Baseball in the modern era. In 42, the great American gods of capitalism and baseball triumph over racism, provincialism, and ignorance, and all is right in the world. Brian Helgeland's epic about Robinson's first year in Major Baseball is often exciting, and just as often shallow and ham-handed. But if there's one thing in which it remains true, it is that the alarmingly American greenback and the all-American athlete are the great destroyers of bigotry. Number 9. Barry. Set in 1981, the Netflix drama paints a highly convincing portrait of Barack Obama when he was a 20-year-old college student in New York, still piecing together who he was. The future president had to fight the prejudices and racist opinions of his fellow students and other staff to find his place at the university. This painstaking process leads him to a self-exploration and identity search as he gets involved with different communities and social circles. Barry reminds us of the vast genre possibilities of rag-to-riches movies. They can push the boundaries further and shed light on the invisible battles people are fighting in various facets of society in terms of race, class, caste, religion, gender, sexual preferences, and geopolitics. Number 8. Joy. The David O. Russell film was loosely based on the life of Joy Mangano, a divorced mother of 2 who rises against all odds and sets up a successful business empire. In true rags-to-riches style, her gift to the world is the self-wringing miracle mop. Joy, like all great entrepreneurs, understood that the best way to make money was to solve problems, and her invention solved a big one. Facing betrayal, treachery, the loss of innocence, and the scars of love, Joy becomes a true boss of both family and enterprise in a world of unforgiving commerce. Allies become adversaries, and adversaries become allies, both inside and outside the family, as Joy's inner life and fierce imagination carry her through the storm she faces. Number 7. Pelé, Birth of a Legend. This biographical movie records the football player's early life up until 1958, the crucial year in which the then 17-year-old helped clinch a World Cup victory against Sweden. Pelé's childhood was haunted by poverty and adversity. As a protege of unmatched skill and determination, the boy broke the Eurocentric notions of the game by barreling into the French defense in the final. The movie marks a crucial point of destiny in Pelé's life and career, from which the legend of Pelé started to permeate the world in the years that followed. Number 6. The Founder. When the John Lee Hancock movie starts, we meet Mac and Dick McDonald, who are running a burger firm in the 1950s Southern California. Ray Kroc is a salesman from Illinois who gets impressed by the brothers' unique system making and delivering burgers. He presents an idea of kickstarting a franchise network all through the United States with a fully fledged assembly line production which enables any order ready within seconds. The founder shows how the McDonald brothers enter the franchise deal hesitantly with Kroc at the top of the joint venture, but the differences between them surface soon and Kroc parts ways with the brothers, listing him as the founder of McDonald's. After retiring from the restaurant, Kroc owned the San Diego Padres of Major League Baseball from 1974 until his death 10 years later. Number 5. The Pursuit of Happiness. This Will Smith movie is one of the best motivational stories portraying broker Chris Gardner. It highlights his struggles in the 1980s, where he was at his lowest of times and lost his wife's earnings selling a product he invested in. The money troubles make him lose his apartment, with his wife leaving him, being left with the custody of his son. While Gardner takes part in an unpaid internship in a brokerage firm, he tries to fend for his son and endures the troubles the city offers him. His undying spirit and his love for his son finally lead him to secure the job as a broker. After Gardner sold his small stake in the firm in a multi-million-dollar deal in 2006, he became the CEO and founder of Christopher Gardner International Holdings, with offices around the United States. Number 4. Citizen Kane. Considered by many to be the greatest movie of all time, Citizen Kane tells the story of a business tycoon named Charles Foster Kane. Beginning with his death and his mysterious final words, the movie examines his journey from being plucked out of poverty to becoming one of the most important figures in America. The film is loosely based on William Randolph Hearst's life. He was an American businessman, newspaper publisher, and politician, known for developing the nation's largest newspaper chain and media company, Hearst Communications. Number 3. Straight Outta Compton. Director F. Gray Gray's movie is an epic-sized take on approaching the American dream from an askew angle that draws straight out of Compton and straight into capitalism. The NWA endured controversy owing to its music's explicit lyrics, which many viewed as being misogynist, anti-Semitic, as well as to its glorification of drugs and crime. In spite of being banned from many mainstream American radio stations, the group has sold over 10 million units in the United States alone. Although the group disbanded in 1991, it remains one of the greatest and most influential hip-hop groups, leaving a lasting legacy on hip-hop music in the following decades. Number 2. The Wolf of Wall Street. The Martin Scorsese epic tells the life of once the eccentric billionaire named Jordan Belfort, who emerged on Wall Street as a prominent stockbroker. When he first stepped foot in Wall Street, he took an entry-level job at a Wall Street brokerage firm. Despite his lack of experience, and that only coming from him working in the firm, he started from scratch and started making a name for himself. By the 90s, and while still in his 20s, Belfort created his own firm by the name of Stratton Oakmont. While he and his band live the high life, the SEC and FBI come knocking on his door and try to stop this gargantuan fraud that he makes time and time again relentlessly. Today, Belfort is working as a motivational speaker around the world, talking about his way to success. Number 1. The Social Network. The Oscar-winning drama highlights Mark Zuckerberg's ingenious networking website in 2003, which is known today to the rest of the world as Facebook. However, Mark met his unprecedented success, which also led to both personal and legal complications. He even ends up on the receiving end of 2 lawsuits, one involving his former friend Eduardo. His invention of Facebook led to an aspect that became a part of today's globalization. When David Fincher's movie hit the screens in 2010, Facebook had 500 million users and a valuation of $25 billion. Facts which appear on the film's closing slides, along with the information that Mark Zuckerberg had recently been named the world's youngest billionaire. As the end of last year, the company's own statistics claims it has 2.8 billion active users. It's valued at around $1 trillion.